We have a special guest in the building with us tonight. He's a known writer and director of movies such as Dragon Ball. He's written Dragon Ball Evolution. We'll talk about it. Blood and Bone was starring Michael J. White. The Big Hit starring Mark Wahlberg. And we'll talk about tasting the golden spray. For those who have not understood what that meaning meant, we're adults here. We have Ben Ramsey in the building. What's going on, Ben?
Hey. What's up? What's up, man? Good to be with you. Good to be with you. Yeah, I know you had to lead off with Dragon Ball Evolution. I tell everybody, if I died tomorrow, that would be on my tombstone and stuff. Here lies Ben Ramsey, the guy that fucked up Dragon Ball.
So, I mean, at least people are talking about it. No matter what, they're gonna talk about
it. Oh yeah. I gotta clear the slate on this one.
Yeah, please, because we know, but I don't think the general public understands how these things work in Hollywood. So let's start there. Let's just, like I said, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get it out the way. Dragon Ball Evolution. We know that what we seen is not what you wrote. So tell the people. No. Talk to the people. Let them know what's going on.
Well, it was just, they came to me. I had just written Luke Cage. I had written a feature film adaptation of Luke Cage, and John Singleton was supposed to direct. That wound up, getting, thrown into development hell. But people liked the script, so ultimately it got to Fox, and they were trying to develop Dragon Ball Z. So, they came to me and said, hey, what's your take on this? Can you do a rewrite or a polish on the script? We want to make a product, that will introduce, new people to the franchise. So, I checked it out. I had to get into my, do my research. And I said, well, I think the best way to, introduce people to the franchise is to do an origin story. And that is to go back to Dragon Ball, don't start on Dragon Ball Z. And they said, okay, yeah, we could do that. We don't want to do a kid's movie. I was like, okay, well, we can make them a little bit older, but basically, I stayed true to the manga, to search for the Dragon Balls. I read all the mangas and stuff, I said, okay, we'll do the search for the Dragon Ball story. And then what we'll do is, start out a little more conventional, and then eventually start bringing more and more of, the familiar Dragon Ball tropes into the story. So by the end of the movie, it's full on Dragon Ball. And then you can roll off into the sequel. You can roll into Dragon Ball Z, with a full straight. Now you can go into the script that you gave me. So that was the idea. That was my assignment. My assignment was to take the general public and lead them into Dragon Ball. And, I did, I think I probably did about 10 drafts of it. And, each draft, the studio started pushing a little bit more of the conventional stuff, make it a little bit more conventional. But, I was like, I did the best, that I could, incorporating the studio notes with traditional, with the traditional story, and staying true to the, to the manga. And anybody, there's a copy of there's a copy of, I forget which draft that I wrote that was leaked online. And anybody that wants can read that. And, a lot of things was like, oh, you didn't do any research, you didn't study. I was like, bullshit. I studied that thing up and down, left and right, inside and out. That's the way I roll. And anybody who reads that script can tell, that's what I did, So people were like, oh yeah, that's what, but it eventually, I think I just now got reminded that there was a writer's strike. A writer's strike kicked in around that time because so why didn't they bring me back in when they went into production? I had nothing. I was nowhere near. I wasn't around in production at all. So
once again, people, this writer's strike affected a lot of stuff because that was Dragon Ball Evolution came out around 2008 and the strike was around 2007.
Yeah, yeah, and they were shooting around '06. I think they went into pre-production around '06, and then they're shooting around '07. So I didn't, I was busy. I didn't really care at that particular time. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're making it. But the director came in and he did a pass on it and whatever. But anyway, it turned into it turned into that big Steve Impala ass that exists today. And my name is at the end of it. So I caught hell, from the end. And it came on too. I was like, man, I went to the screening of it down there. I was all excited. I was like, oh man, this is going to be my first, 100 million plus blockbuster movie. And I went there and saw it.
Right. Exactly.
People in the theater and, the projection. So I was like, where's everybody at? I was like, nobody showed up. Yeah, I said, well, what's the reaction, man? What do people think? The guy said,
oh, no.
I was like, oh, shit. So anyway, I sat there and watched, and I was like, oh my god,
this ain't mine. This ain't mine.
This
ain't mine.
I don't know what this is, but this ain't mine.
This ain't what I wrote.
And then when the movie ends, there's like, I can tell when you go to credits and stuff, the first thing in somebody's mind is like, who wrote this shit? And then here comes my name with a sound effect and everything going. I was like, oh, goddamn. So anyway,
that was the bullet you had to bite.
Yeah. So the rest is, as they say, was history. I had to, like Dragon Ball fans. Dragon Ball fans are vicious.
Different.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball fans are. Don't you say a word, Lady Mandalore. I know One Piece is a cult, and I'm glad to be a part of the pirate ship. It is what it is.
I wasn't even going to say it. You said it for me, though.
Every time she says it, we have to correct it. It's a cult with jackets.
Yeah,
cool.
But yeah, it was. Excuse me. But yeah, it was pretty wicked, man. I'm like, I was getting death threats, literally.
Now that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. You destroyed my childhood.
You were a boring kid. Like,
what I'm saying, my original draft for Dragon Ball was what got the whole thing started. Is the draft that brought Stephen Chow on board. Stephen Chow vowed that he didn't want to work with Hollywood, never wanted to do a Hollywood movie. He read my first draft of Dragon Ball, and he wanted to be involved. And
this is the same Stephen Chow who did Kung Fu Hustle, right?
Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle,
which we're still waiting a sequel on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's done after that. Yeah, but anyway, later on, this guy Derek Padula, who's big time Dragon Ball. He has this big Dragon Ball podcast, and he's made Dragon Ball. So he's one of the biggest guys in the Dragon Ball Z world. Wound up getting my contact information, and he asked about it, and so I said I'm gonna take this opportunity and I'm gonna apologize to the Dragon Ball fan, basically because I knew that the studio or nobody else was going to do it, and that
was under Dragon Ball was under Fox, right?
Yeah, that was Fox.
Okay, so, that sounds about right, because that's why Disney bought them out, because they just
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, the studio didn't.
Fox didn't has a good history with me.
And then a lot of people in the industry and executive producer like, hey, what's the big deal? We all
because they got their check already. They're good.
That part.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. My Celsius went down the wrong pipe. But
that's another cult. But continue.
Is it?
Apparently, it is.
The vampire.
I knew nothing about this until somebody gave me one, and I said, man, I need some energy. Somebody gave me this thing, and I've been addicted ever since and stuff.
Wait,
I was
energy?
maybe just for the mind. Yes,
I've had it before, and I just thought it was like, oh, these are tasty. I'll have another.
Yeah.
All this time,
yeah.
I've only had it like 3 times.
Take it from
I
me.
can't mess with the.
Sorry, I was going to make a very, very stupid joke, but I was going to say, take it from me, somebody that knows about getting addicted to the drink.
Oh yeah, you're a Celsius addict.
No, vampire.
Yeah.
Like I said, bad joke.
I love that
you have to be within the circle to know what you do.
I love the commitment. The full commitment was still there.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
That's all I'm about.
When have you not known Lady Mandalore to be fully committed?
Of course.
She was gonna ride. She was gonna ride that joke to the end. It was like, you know what, swing or miss. We gonna go with it.
I'm gonna go. It's out there. Anyway.
Okay, I get it now. Okay. But yeah, before I was like, oh, Celsius, you drink this too and stuff? I was like, yeah, okay.
I can have
blood.
Celsius.
All right, I got that.
Lord.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't put no blood, unless you threw a little Celsius in there and shit, man. Spike it up.
I mean, listen, it changes lives. It changes lives.